So it seems as though The Last of Us Part 3 is actually going to be happening. Neil Druckmann has said in a clip that there's a concept. They're going to be working on The Last of Us Part 3. They were unsure if it was going to be a thing. He'd been brainstorming, thinking, well, you know, if Part 2 is the end, they're leaving it on an ending that could have been an ending, right? It could have been the final chapter. It could have been a nice little closing, I guess, to the whole story, the arc of the story. And he was talking about the fact that, you know, with PlayStation, they're always supportive what Naughty Dog wants to do. You know, if they want to do another Last of Us, great. If not, you know, whatever they do, PlayStation would support. And so, you know, the idea was like, okay, well, they're not going to do another Last of Us unless it makes sense, unless it's something that, you know, is going to add something, you know, substantial, significant, something that is of value to the story, at least in their opinion, as, you know, developers and writers and creators and all that. And it seems as though now they've gone to a place where they've, you know, decided, okay, this is an idea that we can flesh out and turn into The Last of Us Part 3. So I'm gonna show you guys a quick clip. I hope I can show you guys this. If not, then I might just have to tell you guys about it. But I'm gonna show you guys a quick clip of Neil Druckmann himself saying it. Basically, what he's saying is, he says, "I don't have a story, but I do have that concept. That, to me, is as exciting as Part 1, as exciting as Part 2, is its own thing, and yet has this through line for all three. So it does feel like there's probably one more chapter to this story." End quote. So, I mean, again, interesting stuff. Let me see if I can throw up the clip on screen. If I can't, then, like I said, I'm gonna have to cut this part out. But let me see if I can show you guys.
Just based on where we were, I didn't want to prioritize this story, so that story was shelved. And I still believe one day it will see the light of day. I don't know if it'll be a game or a show, TBD. First game had such a clean concept of like the unconditional love a parent feels for their child. The second one, once we landed on this idea of the pursuit of justice at any cost, justice for the ones you love, it felt like, oh, there's a clean concept here, and there's a through line from the first game about love. If we never get to do it again, this is a fine ending point. And right, last bite of the apple, the story's done. The great thing about working at Naughty Dog is that we don't have to. It's always like, we would love another Last of Us, but if you guys feel like are passionate about something else, we'll support this other thing. Very privileged position to be in. I never take that for granted. I've been just thinking about, okay, is there a concept there? And for now years, I haven't been able to find that concept. But recently that's changed. And I don't have a story, but I do have that concept that to me is as exciting as 1, as exciting as 2, is its own thing, and yet has this through line for all 3. So it does feel like there's probably one more chapter to this story.
So there you guys have it, straight from Neil's mouth himself. Again, the exact quote that I just quoted you guys, but just so you guys can actually see and hear it for yourself directly from him. That's what it is. It's as simple as that. That's what's going to be taking place. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. What would you guys like to see from a Part 3? I know Part 2 is very controversial. Part 1, everybody loved. I mean, I think it's one of the greatest games ever made. Part 2, I feel like it got a little bit too, I don't know, man. It just felt like they got a little bit too distracted with some other kind of stuff that just kind of, you know, it just muddied the story completely, and it just didn't feel the way it should. And that, you know, at the same time, you could tell it was a story that even though I think it was muddied, and I think it was a little bit, you know, kind of all over the place in some regards, you could also tell that it was a story that was well written, even if it wasn't necessarily what I would consider a great story, if that makes sense. I know that almost sounds controversial or not controversial, but goodness, forget contradictory. I think that, you know, probably is going to sound contradictory to some people, but maybe you understand what I mean by that. That said, where do we go with Part 3, right? I mean, there's a chance to kind of explore more of Ellie and Abby and that, but based on what Neil is saying, he's saying is its own thing, and yet it can have sort of like a through line that makes sense, that like goes through all 3 games, all 3 chapters. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully, if they're going to be doing this, it's a really strong concept. It's something that they're really going to be able to, flesh out, hammer home, and it's going to be good stuff. Because, at the end of the day, if it's not, then it's just gonna tarnish the name of The Last of Us even further. And I say even further because, again, Part 2 is very controversial. There's a lot of people that really hate Part 2. And there's a lot of people that are a little bit mixed. A lot of people that don't necessarily love it and have some issues with it here and there, where I think I probably fall in that category. I'm somewhere in the middle. And then there's people that absolutely love it. So, I mean, you're going to have that with every game, but I think you had that a lot with this game, whereas, Part 1 was generally loved by most fans, by a lot of people, you know what I mean? So hopefully Part 3 can get back to what they captured with Part 1, and just kind of that raw essence that people gravitated towards so much in Part 1. Again, I feel like they really lost that touch with Part 2, trying to focus on all these other things that just really, really muddied up the story and just all the flow and everything. Anyway, so there's a bunch more we could say about that, but let me know what you guys think would be good for chapter 3, for part 3 of The Last of Us. And I'll see you guys maybe in like 7 years when like PS6 comes out. It's probably when it's probably not coming out for PS5. It's probably not coming out for quite some time. It's probably gonna be like PlayStation 6, let's be honest. So I don't know, whenever that happens, if the world hasn't ended, then Lord willing, maybe we'll cover it here on the channel, if the channel's still around, hopefully, and we'll play it here on the channel. I don't know. It's going to be a while. So keep it locked. If you enjoyed this one, leave it a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys soon. Another one. Till then, game on. Thanks for watching. Hey, you! What are you doing? Join the Skeleton Army. Do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow might never come. The Earth is going to fade. That's inevitable. The next second of your life's not even promised, so you better think about where you're going, and you might as well just join the Skeleton Army. Plus, we do kind of like you a little bit, so it'd be nice to see you around here. But if you don't want to, hey, your loss. See you later.